Let's talk about men pulling away and withdrawing and what to do about it. So, this is probably one of the most devastating things that we can go through, especially if we're being blindsided by it, right? If we feel chemistry and love for a man, it's probably one of the top searched phrases, like, why does a man pull away? Why does a man withdraw? And I know that this was my experience. So there's so much I want to say, and I want to keep this as short as possible. And I'm going to share a little bit about my story so that you can see if this is happening for you. Okay. So in 2009, I met a man online, and it felt the way I thought it should feel. And I was 29. I turned 44 this month. I was 29, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is it. I hadn't felt this way before with any man. It just felt right from the very beginning. And then at the 3-month mark, he disappeared. But I completely missed all the red flags, and he had all of them. So, but if like looking back, I'm like, okay, I don't know exactly when the disconnect started happening, but it was a few weeks before. And he just stopped texting, good morning, and he stopped paying for things, and he stopped driving as much. And I just jumped right in there, I'm like, oh, I can pay for this, or I'll drive, or, picking up the slack, because I was a loving, helpful girlfriend. And we had, like, said we're soulmates, and he's like, well, I want to get married. So in my mind, I felt safe and secure because we were basically engaged. And then things kind of started going downhill. And then we had an argument, and he just stopped talking to me. So I got online. I'm pretty sure that was in March of 2009, and researched everything about what makes a man fall in love, well, what makes a man pull away, what makes a man withdraw, understanding men, and how to get one back, like all the things. And then I found my mentor, and I learned about masculine, feminine energy, and it opened up my eyes to a whole new world. And what happened though is, once I learned about, being in my feminine energy and over functioning, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I did everything wrong. I could have saved this relationship. I could have stopped him from pulling away. And if I had known how to communicate better, if I had known how to be softer in my feminine energy, and if I didn't, pick up the slack. Anyway, I'm like, I did everything wrong. Okay. So notice if you have felt that way at all, just turning in on yourself that this was you and you could have changed it. Okay. Well, fast forward, after working with lots of women, I started noticing the same pattern. And they are healthy, self-aware women. And I would see them turn in on themselves if a man wasn't stepping up, they thought that they needed to be more in their feminine energy, or practicing, or there's more to heal or fix in order for this man to be inspired into his masculine energy. It's almost like a false sense of control when we learn about masculine, feminine energy and law of attraction, and somehow like the reality of life gets pushed over here. And when I started noticing my clients do this, and I could see that they, had the whole package, I'm like, this isn't you, this is them, this is their stuff. There's nothing you can do to help him through his stuff. Like, you don't want to help him. Helping him is not the answer. And then I thought back to my experience, and I had this big light bulb moment of, it didn't matter if I knew about masculine and feminine energy or not. That relationship was never going to work. He was never going to be the right man for me. And this has opened up my eyes to so many of the teaching modalities and healing modalities out there, where the awareness of them is great. The more awareness we have around relationship dynamics, the better. But as one of my clients said, she weaponized that information against herself, so that it was always about her being either more feminine or not feminine enough, or needing to heal or fix or raise her vibration more, or there's more about her that wasn't right, rather than the relationship dynamic not being right, or the man not being right. And so now what I teach is more about women who have self-awareness, and it's actually less about masculine and feminine energy, and it's more about recognizing healthy behaviors and unhealthy behaviors in men, and showing up as a healthy relationship partner for yourself, right? In your life. When you're showing up as a healthy relationship partner, then your job is to observe men. That is your superpower from here on out, and to be able to recognize right away. And this is what I teach in my elevated dating method, is how to recognize there are 3 archetypes of men that you're going to be dating, and how to recognize them in 3 dates or less. So you stop wasting your time, you stop, thinking maybe he'll see me differently. Maybe maybe I can, be the woman that he feels safe with, and all the things that I call this distorted thinking that keeps women from being with the right man for them. Okay. So what do you do if a man pulls away and withdraws? The short, simple answer is nothing, because he's showing you that he's not the right man for you. Okay. And don't really get me started on the attachment theories on avoidant men, because to me, that's another way for women to weaponize that information and stay stuck in that dynamic, because they have so much compassion for a man and his issues. And so if a man is classified as avoidant, then he is not the right man for you. Okay. That's just as black and white as it gets. That's how it is. You will never be happy, safe, and secure if you're with an avoidant man. You need to be with a healthy relationship partner. Okay, so let's talk about space in a relationship. The easiest way to feel into this is you having a life raft and seeing everybody else as having a life raft. And just notice, if you imagine yourself, your man, a man, your family, your friends as having their own life rafts. Doesn't that automatically feel like more space? Okay. Now, space in a relationship is healthy, but if it seems like you need to give a man space so that he doesn't pull away and withdraw, that's unhealthy. Okay. If you have self-awareness, right? Everybody needs to learn how to read the room. Let's read the room. This is like emotional intelligence. And if it seems like he needs some space, then it shouldn't last longer than a couple of hours. If you're with a moody man, I am sorry. I would not tolerate being with a moody man. So I have very high expectations, which is why I tell my women, you need to raise your expectations and your standards, because they're way too low right now. If you're tolerating any kind of if you don't do something, if you can read the room, if you have enough emotional intelligence to communicate, you need to have those expectations in a partner. Okay. And it really is that simple, and our own distorted thinking gets in the way. And that's what I help my clients with. So one client recently, you can have this distorted thinking that recognizing, if a relationship partner is the right one for you, that it takes time. And it really doesn't take that long because people show you who they are right away. but it used to take her 6 months to a year before she was like, okay, this isn't the right man for me. And she recently went to visit a man that she had seen before. And she had feelings that he wasn't the right one. And then within 2 days of being with him, she knew. She's like, oh yeah, this is not right for me. So you want to start shortening the timeline from when you you will notice, if you are observing, like how quickly you recognize healthy and unhealthy behaviors in men. And of course, this is what I do with my clients. So anyways, space in a relationship is healthy, but it shouldn't be a pattern. And it shouldn't be because a man is moody, right? That's a red flag. And if this is happening, you need to come talk to me. We need to work together. Because it's your empowered masculine speaking in a calm manner that has the ability to basically eliminate that. Or the thing that shouldn't be happening is you shouldn't be tolerating it. And it's an inward boundary thing, and not it's not even so much about communicating, but it's your energy that says the most. Okay, so yes, space. Do you need to give a man space to build and feel attraction? Okay, I used to say this and I'm so sorry. But now I'm like, okay, the space in your life raft is enough space, right? If we're doing unhealthy behaviors, that's right. Like smothering a man or not giving him space. If you know, like he's had a bad day or a hard day and he just needs to like decompress for an hour or something, right? That's different. But if a man's pulling away and like stops contacting you, stops calling you, then there's nothing. I want you to do nothing. I want you to email me. let me guide you. So I do messenger support with my clients, and they said that's the most valuable thing to them. And of course there's no like codependence in it. I'm teaching you how to operate in a healthy way in your relationships, when it's easy to question yourself and wonder, like, are you being too harsh? Are you being too judgmental? Any of that type of thing. But what I want to say at the end here is that if a man is pulling away and withdrawing, it probably has nothing to do with you, and it's his issues, and you're dodging a bullet. And now it's time to learn how to recognize the 3 main archetypes of men in 3 dates or less, so that you don't ever find yourself in this situation again.